Hey, what's up everybody? So today I have got my feet on the ground all day. I've got a bunch going on, but it's just, part of being a independent small business owner for tree service especially. So today my focus is on bidding and doing some equipment repair, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to meet a client right now. It's a commercial client. I've done one of their facilities already. I think I did 14 elm trees. So that has led to other work. And I spent all morning editing my first vlog. This is of course going to be the second one. And then after that, I actually got some requests to do a bid. A couple of bids actually off of Facebook. I don't pay for promotion, but I use the local, well, I just started, I should say, using the local classifieds ads on Facebook, the groups, and make sure you're following their requirements. You don't want to post stuff that's going to get you banned from the group. But yeah, so it took maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes to get a professional looking post together. I did some photos of me climbing and also of trees that I had finished, befores and afters, and I put a whole post in there about what my view of tree work is and what I'm looking for to help my clients with, and I've actually gotten some good response from it. So we're gonna go look at that later. After I meet this gentleman, I am gonna go look at the property. I think it's really important, and if you've listened to the podcast that I did about why you should start your own tree service company, or why you might want to, I should say, I think it's really cool that you get to see the properties before you get out there with your equipment. And honestly, I think that's really important. Now, there are times where maybe a job's further away and it's not practical. But yeah, I think it's really important to be able to see the property first and then figure out how you're going to organize things. And that helps out a lot. So let's talk about a little bit of this later. See you about it. All right, so I had a good conversation with my client. I'm heading over now to go check out the facility that I'm about to start work on, and show you guys a little bit about what I'm doing there. Then I'm gonna go show you guys something about the Stihl bar oil. So we'll get into that here shortly. All right guys, so here we are. We're at my upcoming job that I just met my client with, or about, I should say. By the way, real quick, these mirrors, these ECCPP mirrors for the Dodge, the tow mirrors, are really nice for $100. I mean, you can't, they vibrate a good bit, so it's kind of hard to see at times on rough roads because they're so far extended. But overall, for $96 shipped, yeah, totally worth it. Okay, on to tree stuff. So here are the two trees that I am taking care of today, or not today, but soon. As you can see, they just put new roofing on this building, so they want this stuff taken off. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of creative rigging just to swing some of this stuff off of there. Not too much, to be honest. Like I said, the trunks aren't that big. This one's only probably, I don't know, 3.5 feet in diameter. And then this one, 4 foot-ish. And there is all of, this stuff here I can just let fall over. This stuff over the building, of course, is more challenging. I'll climb what I can, and then I'll get a lift and do what I don't feel comfortable climbing to get it all down. And then later there's some trimming that I've got to do on that tree there and things. So yeah, that's what we've got going on here with these. And I'll show you the work video, at least some of it, when I get around to doing that. Not this week, but next week it looks like. So it's a bit chilly out here, and to combat that, of course, I'm gonna get me some coffee. This gas station here has $1 refills. That's $1 including tax, which is nice. So it beats even McDonald's pricing. And they have flavored coffees like hazelnut and things. So really, really like that. Sorry, I lost track of where my camera was for a moment there. So if you're not watching Elevated or listening to Elevated Office, you should be. So stoked to have my podcast going well. I've got to get more episodes out, which I will. Got me some Hawaiian hazelnut coffee, $1 refill in tax included, and I just got somebody who wants me to come do some more work because I had you guys with me. I had the GoPro and I laid it on the counter, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I told him, and he wanted a card, so there we go. Drinking out of my favorite Yeti, the Levi Conrad Arborist Yeti. If you haven't seen his videos on YouTube, go check him out. Got lots of stuff I'm going to show you guys through my videos. I love doing the videos. Hope you guys aren't getting bored of them. I even have this to go over and review. So haven't even used it. I've owned it like 4 months and I haven't even used it. So I've really got to go measure a tree, because this isn't just a rangefinder. It's a vertical distance and height measurement tool, which is really cool. So we'll be doing that as well. All right, let's get on to the Stihl oil and gas. The Stihl bar oil. So on my way to talk about the Stihl bar oil that I wanted to mention to you guys, I remembered that I needed to stop by Black Dog Equipment Service and Rental in Montrose, Colorado. They're the company I rent most of my stuff from, especially the stump grinder. It's awesome. They have a Toro STX 26, I want to say it is, that I rent. And that thing, for such a small stump grinder, it's track driven. It's got a hydraulic head. It's got carbide teeth. It just really works. So if you haven't tried one yet, and you can, definitely give it a go. You might be getting more for your money than you think. I really like that thing. Well, I just got a new hat from Black Dog Rental Equipment. It's really good to have relationships that are positive with your suppliers and your service companies. They, like Black Dog and I, know each other pretty well. Don't always dog on them about pricing and stuff. If they're giving you a good quality service at a reasonable price, let it be. Don't nickel and dime them to death. If they're too high for you, go somewhere else if the quality isn't worth it. You might get a lower price, but then they're gonna nickel and dime you back, and they're not gonna be as responsive to you and things like that. I'm not saying Black Dog, I'm saying suppliers in general. Black Dog has been like nothing but stellar the whole time. So if you're in the Montrose area, I definitely recommend you check out Black Dog Rental Equipment. North Townsend, just outside of downtown. And they gave me a hat, which is really, really sweet. I like to have hats because when I get out of the tree or when I get done doing saw work and I have my helmet off, my hair's a mess and it looks a lot more professional to have a nice hat. So, but now we're gonna talk about the Stihl oil finally and what's going on with that. So let's get inside and I'll show you what they were telling me about it and what you might want to know. All right. So I finally made it here to Western Implement, and the mechanic that works on my stuff from the Stihl mechanic, Victoria, she's not feeling well today, so she doesn't want to be on camera, which is fine. But we're going to talk about these bar oils from Stihl that I had mentioned to you. You'll see that you have the orange one here, you have the platinum, and then you have the blue one, and it even has a snowflake on there. Now, if you're in really, really cold weather, like 10 degrees like we get out here sometimes, this works okay for professional saw grade, but it's more of like a homeowner use and electric saw, like the battery saws or electric saws that they have from Stihl. And once you get up to like the 30 degree or 40 degree, it gets really watery thin. And when you turn off your saw, you'll see it start to drip off the bar, and it'll actually run out of the return case on that the chip guard, whatever. You'll see that with this. This is more like 80 or 90% of the year use. This is much thicker. If you're using especially like bigger saws like 462s, 661s, or 880s, this is going to heat up inside the chamber better, and it's going to lubricate better. It's going to stick to the bar and chain better. It is fully synthetic essentially, and it's just a higher quality oil. It is more expensive, but sometimes check with your local distributor or retail. Sometimes they'll give you a discount if you're a professional tree service. I know that Western Implement helps me out a little bit on that stuff. And then this has paraffin in it, like paraffin wax. It makes it thicker, but it also makes it congeal more, and it makes it harder on your saws in the winter, for instance. This is more of like a homeowner grade, and it's better for the summer, in spring, that kind of thing. So it's a little cheaper, if I remember correctly. Is this one cheaper? No, this one and this one are the same, right? Yeah, these are the same price. It's just the uses of them. I wouldn't say use this over 30 degrees. Honestly, it's just too thin. If it's 30 degrees or warmer outside, use this one, which is what I use almost all the time. So that one's the one you want if you're a pro tree service company. I know Human on his channel talked about this one in the past. He bought one, it was tan. Then he bought one that was like a light beige, and the light beige didn't run as well in the winter, but the tan ran better. And then he went back and bought another, and it was tan. I think he got the third time around an old stock. This is the new formula, and it's much thicker than it used to be. So stay away from this, pro guys. Stick to this. If it's above 30 degrees, below 30 degrees, I suggest this. And just also watch how your saw's reacting. If it's too thin, get rid of this oil and go to that oil. That's just the way to keep it in mind, right? So hope that helps you guys out. A little bit of information I just learned recently, and I figured it might help you guys out as well. So we'll continue on. I'll see you later. So Victoria here at Western Implement, who you should really come by and bring your saws to if you're not familiar with her. What a good mechanic she is. She's the only one that works on my saws. You're not in the video. Okay. She's not feeling well, so she's not in the video. But she found this, which is a Stihl what? Lightning. And she's got it running. Can you crank it? No? It's a little hard to get running. It's pre-63, you said? Yeah. What a cool saw this is. This is just, I mean, absolutely rad. How much does this thing weigh? Do you know?
27 pounds without the bar.
27 pounds without the bar. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day about running, like I was running my 661, and I was like, man, after 6 hours of running this thing, you're dead. But it has vibration dampening and all this stuff. Can you imagine?
Pre-63.
Pre-63?
Yeah.
That'd be nuts. 6 hours or 8 hours a day doing that?
Yeah, you get white hand syndrome.
Yeah, this thing is pretty rad though. I like this. So that was pretty rad. Got to see a Stihl Lightning pre-63 Stihl chainsaw, 28 pounds without the bar. Wow. Yeah, that thing was super, super cool. Victoria is a great mechanic. I'm super stoked that I found her. If you guys are in the Montrose area, Telluride area, Delta area, whatever, come out to Western Implement in Montrose, have her work on your saws. She's the only one that touches my saws now. I like consistency in life. I like the same mechanic doing the same work and that kind of stuff. And she does a great job. So definitely come check out what she's got going on over there. And she does a good job, and you guys won't be disappointed, I'm pretty sure. So I've been talking to sponsors for the channel today. There might be some updated information coming along with that, so keep that in mind. And now I'm going to go find what good areas I can go ride my four-wheeler in and do some video of that. I've got to go do some bids, and we'll see what happens for the rest of the day. So I just got done looking at a job for a bid, and I told them I wouldn't give them a bid yet until I talked to them. The property has a ton of stuff under it, and it's super complicated for the tree. Just accessing it is an issue. So that's a challenge. And then they have a lot of clutter of just things that they have, I don't know, bought or gotten for free or whatnot. Which is fine. It's their house, it's their property. But the problem is that I don't know, because nobody's home. I don't know what they expect from me. Am I gonna have to rope each piece of this off? And also there's no access to get a lift in. So they will have to clear stuff out because it's stone dead. Well, it's not stone dead, it's got life in it, but it's so dead as a tree, as a cottonwood, that I don't know that I really feel confident climbing it. It's hanging over their house, and it's just fraught with potential liability issues. So the lady confessed to me through Facebook chat that they've asked people to come that were doing tree trimming in the neighborhood to come and give them an estimate, and she says people keep ignoring her. They come look at it and then they ignore her. Well, I just texted her back and told her all the reasons people aren't coming and responding to her. They're not giving her an estimate. Most likely, people aren't giving her an estimate because, first, it's more hassle than they want to deal with. I kind of gravitate toward those jobs because it's a way for me to develop new ways of thought and processes and make things more efficient. And I like the challenge, but there is a high potential for breakage and insurance claims, so I have to keep that in mind as well. But if I'm going to do the job, they're going to pay for it. I mean, that's just how it is. And I think what I find is that a lot of companies, they see these jobs that are daunting and overwhelming, and they come up with a number in their head, and they're afraid, first off, that they might be wrong and they might lose money. Okay, I get that. But second of all, I think a lot of times the number they think it's worth, they just feel like the client is not going to pay it, and then they'll get a bad reputation for being too expensive. Well, it's true, that may occur. The client may not be willing to pay it, and they may go tell everybody that you're expensive. Whatever. The fact is that that tree is worth a certain price for you as a tree service professional. Give them the bid. Give them the price. It's better to give them a price that's outside their price range than to ignore them. They're still going to talk bad about you. So I'll give them a price. I have an idea of what it's going to be, and I doubt they'll go with it. That's fine. It's a huge number, honestly, but that's what the tree is worth. So yeah, I'm not particularly looking forward to the job if I get it, but I'll make it worth my money if I'm going to do it. So we'll see what happens. But her husband's supposed to call me this evening, and we're going to talk about it. But yeah, don't undersell yourself. If you're not willing to bid it, tell them why you're not willing to bid it. Don't just not bid it. Give them a reason. if you have a number in mind that you're willing to do it for, give it to them. But if you give it to them and they unexpectedly accept this huge number, you better be willing to do it. That's just how this works. If you want to be a professional, be a professional. Non-communication is not being a professional. Point blank. Keep that in mind. All right, we'll see what this next bid's like and go from there. So I showed up at the last bid for the day, and it's a job where there's 2 weeping willow. The owner asked me if I could look at them and give a bid, and I'm gonna bid it, but here's how I'm gonna bid it. I'm gonna bid it for climbing and also for bucket work, because as you may know, weeping willows of any sort aren't super stable. And I'm gonna bid it in a sense that I can either do it climbing, or worst case scenario, if I find that it's just too weak and fragile, I can do it with a bucket and still, you know, make a decent amount of money. So yeah, it's a job where I don't want to undersell myself, but I've got to find that balance, because I don't want to have like an outrageous price for the guy either. And I want to be able to catch myself if climbing's not really practical, then I want to be able to do it with a bucket. So I'm going to bid it in that sense. These willows aren't that bad. One needs a lot of thinning and the other's got a lot of dead. Dead is just typical in willows, and so I think I can handle them, and I'm 90% sure I can do it all climbing. So that'll be a good thing. I like challenges, and these will be challenges. Trimming is always a challenge with anything like this, because you can only get so far out, which is why, once again, I always climb with a pole saw, and even like a Fiskar pruning, easy reach pruner, because a lot of this nitpicky stuff, you don't need to get out there and cut it with a hand saw, or definitely not a chainsaw a lot of times. Those loppers do just fine on this fragile willow stalk for the water sprouts or the branches that come off of it. So that's what we'll do, and I'll let you guys know if it turns out or not.